Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at a bit of a market overview. It's Saturday, so the traditional markets are closed, and yeah, things are looking quite good. So let's just whiz through it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Here's the weekend, it's precious. So let's get stuck straight in. So here's your total market cap, a series of higher highs, higher lows on a weekly. So much for the 4-year cycle is broken, don't you know? I don't know. Do you know? No one knows. The only time you're going to know is when 4 years have elapsed and we're either failing to make a higher high or actually we're making significantly higher highs than that. At the moment, the 4-year cycle looks like a decent projection to where we're going to go, I reckon, until September, which is my estimated bubble pop kind of area. But again, I don't know the future. I have no crystal ball. So the model fits. You know, it would be foolish to deviate from a model that fits. And look, I'm sure you've been around crypto a while, but for those of you who weren't, in the last cycle, this is what the last cycle looked like. This was it. There's your bear market end. There's your first little rally, all the way down to the bottom, a little bit further up, no higher high in place. And in fact, pretty much a lower low, then a measly higher high, measly, and then finally the parabolic move. That, for the most part, was your bull market there. Hey, oh, huh, what, huh, hey, that was it. And then when this bit happened, the 4-year cycle's broken, don't you know? And then it went up. And then do you know what people were saying? 4-year cycle's going to be extended. Extended cycles, don't you know? If I looked at these two charts, which I do, obviously, I say these two cycles, I'll tell you what, this is a much better one than this one. You know, this was fun when you're in and out with the right coins at the right time, but this has been better, more constructive, much better. And obviously I don't know what you're holding or what you're hodling. Yeah, my biggest hodls are obviously Bitcoin, XRP by far. I've got a fair bit of Ethereum clearly. I've got Chainlink, big hodl, loads of Algorand. So as you can see, some of them are better, some of them are not so good. But generally speaking, they're all almost all higher highs, higher lows. There's a lot of altcoins out there which are absolutely not. And I think that has been the main problem. Every day there's about 1 billion new tokens come onto the market. And with those billion new tokens comes basically rug pulls, down-only charts, despair, and just absolute horrendous chaos. And they do not look like this. This is the project. This is your total market cap of all cryptos. Money is coming in. It comes out a little bit, but still stays with more money. Comes in with even more money. Comes out a bit. More money comes in. Bull market still, basically. The beauty of this is the same as we'll see on a few altcoins. We've got a single drive bullish divergence on the money flow index on the weekly. That's usually a bottom signal. And I can see that the RSI is broken out of this area. So we've got a breakout of momentum. And with the money flow index being so low on a weekly, normally you don't get particularly worried about it until it starts to get back above this 80 area, the overheated read. In the past, we saw a peak around here, then you got bearish divergence on the peak, then you had a big peak over here, a bearish divergence on the second peak, if you can call it that. It was a lower high, but you see what I mean. There's rhythm to it. All I'm saying is that if we do continue up between now and September, there's plenty of space for it to do that. The money flow index would easily allow for that without giving you another big toppy vibe. So I like the way it looks. Bitcoin. So let's work our way from the 4-hourly. So the 4-hourly last weekend we were talking about the golden cross. So there's your golden cross. Sometimes these like to be moved into. It's not always the case, but it's more often than not. If you were to see it, that's an impression of myself, by the way. If we were to see it, then you take a position, you get the V-shaped recovery, and then sometimes you break out from there. And that's basically what we've done here. So now you do have an overheated read, bearish divergence, a single drive, that's all. On a 4-hourly, you could probably get another one before a larger consolidation. Probably only into a higher low, though, by the way. The daily got the pump signal, which is still in play. We've also got an avoided death cross on exponentials. The simples are yet to make a golden cross on this one. That's only going to happen if we can stay above the 90s. So I'm hoping that we stay above here, not just because we want that golden cross, but also because we're above the 20 weekly. And if you close above the 20 weekly, which is also around this horizontal, then that is a really crisp breakout for me, and I would be looking for 101, then probably new all-time highs from there. Hopefully slower and steady. Now, there is always the idea of, it's another one of those rhymes, isn't it, really, or one of those crypto prophecies. In May, walk away. Sell in May, walk away. That might be the case. You might need to sell some in May to allow for a pullback in order to get the most out of the market, or for any futures position that you're in, or just a specific trade. Then obviously navigate it yourself. Don't do what I say. Don't just do it because it's May. Remember what happened in Pumptober? Pumptober's come around the corner. Why is it going down? Why is it going down consistently? I don't understand. It's Pumptober. It's Pumptober. There's no such thing as Pumptober, Are you still putting your teeth under your pillow, waiting for the tooth fairy to drop a quid in? I mean, that's not, Pumptober, tooth fairy, they're the same thing. So, yeah, when in May, sell in May, walk away, whatever. It might happen. If it does, it'll be nice because it rhymes, but it doesn't mean that it's because it's May. It would mean that it's either hit a resistance, or it got overheated, or there's enough bearish divergence to contradict the current direction of price action. That's all it is. So yeah, at the moment we want to close above here, and the next target beyond that is going to be 101, maybe 102 or something. But let's face it, so far we had this, didn't we? If we just move all this junk out of the way. I don't want to lock the drawings. I want to. Oh my god, I want to get rid of the drawings. Right, so we had this 20 moving average in this direction, we had this 50 exponential in this direction, and for a little while I had a line here and a line here saying we've basically got a symmetrical triangle. The breakout of either direction is going to give you the continuation, and if we close above here, and again we've got to close the weekly, so we've got another 36 hours or something to close, then you'd be saying, all right, we've got a breakout now. Breakout of that, breakout of momentum as well. And the money flow index is moving up. And again, from a very low area, we've got all the way up here before we start to get a little concerned about how that's going to play. So it looks like it's getting ready to confirm a weekly breakout. And they are my favourites, I can tell you that. They're my favourite. So that is a market overview. That is your Bitcoin. Obviously, the S&P closed green. We've not hit those major resistances. I'll just show you those in case you haven't watched any of my videos before. It's all about the daily, really. The daily shows this box, which is highlighted by a 200 simple, 200 exponential, death cross, and another death cross. So you move into these areas. This is a very significant resistance because, either here or here could prove to be a giant pullback that goes down to a lower low. So whatever you're trading, whether it's a strong coin like Bitcoin or XRP or something else, just remember that as much as we like those things, we recognize that there is a much bigger market that runs parallel, stock market, and with that it's moving into a massive resistance which could result in a lower high and then a kapow. It's not going to be the end of the world, but it's just something to think about as we approach it, that's all. And the beauty of the weekend is these guys are closed. We don't have to worry about them. They're not even open this weekend. So I think we'll probably see a little bit of green today, probably a bit more of a pullback tomorrow into Monday's open, that's an anecdotal thing, really. You often see that on crypto, a sell-off or a pullback towards mid-Sunday, just in anticipation for Monday's open and stuff like that, and fill the gap if we've been green for the weekend. Right, so that is that, and that is that. There's not a great deal of point in me just running through all the altcoins, really, but if we're just going to look at a few, we're going to look at boring old Ethereum, not because it's amazing, but because it gave bottoming signals on the weekly. Again, bullish divergence on the money flow index on a weekly, so bottoming vibes took place there. So much room to make up, obviously, but we do have the capacity to do that with the money flow index sitting all the way down here. But bit by bit, we've got to take these levels out. So 1,900, 2004, 2008, and obviously at that point, you would really probably be looking for a new local high, if not an all-time high, between now and September. Just remember that. But you said when it may walk away, then you said a new pump into... Yeah. I'm thinking about months ahead, not minutes, not microseconds, right? I'm talking a little bit of a time frame here, you've got to think about all time frames, really. So yeah, I did say you might pull back, and I also said you might pump up. You can't lose, can you, when you basically say that the price action can do both things? Yeah, I'll always be exactly as expected YouTuber. Look, that's trading, right? You got to I think this is one thing people need to recognise. Right? I don't know where it's going to go, but I have a variety of different ideas as to what it would do, and with that, I sort of plan to try to be prepared for each one of them. To be honest. My biggest preparation, if anything, isn't to do with the fact that I don't think this can go to a new all-time high. It's to do with the S&P moving into a death cross, which could easily and probably, in all fairness, most likely, statistically, not because I think it's going to do something, just statistically, most likely going to make a lower high, actually, on those areas, and all markets will follow. Just in the short term, we'll see how it goes. I'm not saying it's going to go down to the depths of hell. Just saying that is the most likely scenario. You get rejection from there. Just be careful around those areas. Do you know what? That, I think, should probably conclude this video. Weekend times are precious. You want to make the most of it. You don't want to be listening to me rabbit on about stuff that I've already said. But if we're going to look at individual altcoins, bits by bit, one at a time, and break them down, work out who's what and what is where, then that's what tomorrow night's Patreon live stream is all about. So if you want to join that, there's links in the description below, and we'll look at all the altcoins you want within that time frame that we've got. Other than that, though, I generally think it's all looking quite good. And for those who thought that the 4-year cycle was broken, it does not appear to be. 4-year cycle's broken, don't you know? It's broken. Let's wait for 4 years to elapse, and then we will decide. But right now, seems all right to me generally. And actually, as far as your average bull market's concerned, it is the best I've seen. We've still got the very realistic potential of an alt season as well. Again, same analysis as I provide most days because I look at things on a weekly. It hasn't changed. Starting to get a little iffy around these areas because we should really be below 64% dominance. But if we do go higher, I don't know how much higher it could go. Any one of these wicks could be a peak, and then the next thing we should be looking at would be the alt saison. So I'm all down for that because that's what the charts say. But remember the S&P. That's all I'm saying. Just keep an eye on that bad boy because it could ruin the party. My altcoin was primed for continuation, but it didn't continue despite having a great setup. Why was that? Because a multi-trillion-dollar indice decided to pull back and create a lower high. But this one was the future. Well, it might be the future, but not right now. It's not. Not right now. It's gone onto the big list of mistakes. Right, I'll leave it with you there then. Nothing much more to say. Feel free to subscribe. Other than that, hope you have a nice weekend and take it easy.